Well, from On the Story, I'm joined now by Benjamin Couverture, who's a senior research fellow at the Foundation for Strategic Research and a specialist of nuclear issues. Thank you very much indeed for being our guest today here at France 24. First of all, we're looking back at Chernobyl 30 years on. What are the lessons that should have been learned?
Sure. I think that there are two main lessons that should have been learned. The first one is that we have to remind us of the fact that it was firstly a safety issue, and just a safety issue, not a global nuclear issue. So it was a catastrophe, but it must also be understood as a historical event. Something like the collapse of a faith. In the USSR at that time, people had faith in Soviets, in the project of communism, as well as in technology, modern technology. And the catastrophe of April 1986 sounded like a collapse of both technology and communism as a spare and the faith of the people. And this is particularly well showed by the book of Svetlana Alexievich, who won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2015 in her book Voices of Chernobyl. Because when the government, local, regional, and national in the USSR denied the accident of Chernobyl and all the consequences and the effects of the accident on human on people locally. The people, the very witnesses, the victims, could not believe it was a big lie. They really could not, because they did not want to believe it was a big lie, and it sounded for them like a betrayal, something absolutely huge, and 5 years later, the whole communist bloc collapsed. So it was also a symbol of the collapse of a political system and the trust in technology as a whole.
Now,
and this is, I think, a good lesson for our times today in other in another period.
In another period, in another context. But for instance, here in France, nuclear power, we know, holds a hugely important place, as some people say too big a place. Is there any danger today? Could we also be misled about the safety of nuclear energy here in France?
Safety of nuclear energy in France is vital. It is paramount because, as you know, 78% of our electricity comes from nuclear power plants. And we have 58 reactors dispatched in 19 nuclear power plants all over the country. So it is paramount, and it should be paramount. And I would say that to the major extent of it, it is paramount, and safety has never been really neglected by the national nuclear authorities. But that being said, the Fukushima Daiichi accident in March 2011 was a wake-up call for everyone in Europe, and including France. And then the European Commission urged and requested everyone to have those stress tests in all the nuclear power plants in Europe, and so they were conducted in France in all the nuclear park, and short-term solutions were decided and put in place in 2012. Mid-term solutions by 2020, and longer-term solutions for after 2020 and 2030. So the consequences of Fukushima Daiichi have been, I would say, well understood in France. Still, our philosophy as far as safety, nuclear safety is concerned, is still the same. It is based on 4 principles. First, the responsibility of the operator, which is Électricité de France, EDF. Then the independence of the authority of control, which is the authority of nuclear safety. Then the in-depth defense, which is a multi-layered defense of all the nuclear power plants, and then the regular feedback. And those 4 pillars of our nuclear safety are still the same. But maybe they have been improved by what happened in Fukushima Daiichi.
Benjamin wakeup, thank you very much indeed. A look there at the nuclear issue 30 years on, of course, from Chernobyl, even as the world remembers what remains its worst ever nuclear tragedy.